Good morning. One or two have asked me if there's a group they could join after leaving Watchtower. They feel isolated, which is understandable. So, here's a thought. 1 Kings chapter 19 and verse 14. This is the account of Elijah when he was running away from Queen Jezebel, who was out to kill him. And he complained to the Lord quite loudly. He said, I have been very jealous for the Lord, the God of hosts, for the people of Israel have forsaken your covenant, thrown down your altars, killed your prophets with the sword, and I, even I only, am left, and they seek my life. Elijah thought he was on his own. Now the Lord took pity on him and said, look, I just want you to do one or two little jobs. There's one or two people that need to be anointed, and among them was Elisha, who was going to take over from Elijah, take the burden off Elijah's shoulders. But on top of that, the Lord said, I will leave 7,000 in Israel, all the knees that have not bowed to Baal and whose mouth has not kissed him. There were a lot of people in Israel who were not involved in idolatry. Elijah was not on his own. So, this 7,000 then, did they form a group? No, they didn't, because they were scattered all through Israel. No communication in those days. They couldn't go and join a nation that was serving God because there wasn't any other one. So they were on their own. But the important thing was that God knew each one of them, every one of them, God recognised and knew and was going to help them out. So possibly in ones and twos or more, they would encourage each other not to worship these idols. If we go to Psalm 27, and the whole psalm is lovely, it said, even if my father and my mother would forsake me, the Lord will take me in. Now there's an account in the book of John of a mother and father who did forsake their child, and it's that lovely story of the blind man. And Jesus healed him on the Sabbath, of course. He liked to cause a bit of controversy. And the Pharisees were out to discredit him and find something wrong. Now they didn't believe that the blind man had been cured. They must have thought that Jesus had found someone that looked like him but could see, and they'd hidden the blind man and substituted him with this person who could see. Well, that was ridiculous, but anyway. So the Pharisees called the parents, the mum and dad, and they said to them, is this your son who was born blind? And they said, oh, yes, he is. And how it is he can see now, we don't know. Well, now that wasn't strictly true, because everybody in Jerusalem in those days knew who was doing the healing. But anyway, they were afraid of the Jews, because if they confessed that Jesus was the Christ, they would be thrown out of the synagogue. So what they said was, oh, you can question our son. He is of age. He can speak for himself. They washed their hands of their poor son. So the Pharisees said to this young man who'd been healed, what do you think about the person who opened your eyes? And he says this is an amazing thing. You don't know where he comes from, and yet he opened my eyes. We know that the Lord does not listen to sinners, but if anybody is a worshipper of God and does his will, God listens to him. Never since the world began has it been heard that anyone opened the eyes of a man born blind. If this man were not from God, he could do nothing. The Pharisees got upset and threw him out of the synagogue. Just like Watchtower, if you don't agree with them, they throw you out. And he was isolated on his own. But Jesus heard that he'd been thrown out, and he went to find him, gave him comfort and told him that Jesus was the Messiah, and he would follow Jesus from then on. So, if we're thrown out of Watchtower, the Lord, who is the Good Shepherd, will come and find us and help us out. Now, I'm not a fan of joining a group because you come under their authority, and we don't want the same thing to happen with them. But if you want to go and listen to what they say, I'm sure there are people out there preaching something that's good. So each one of us is different. We have different needs. If we pray for help, if we pray for somebody that we could discuss these things with, the Lord will answer our prayer. He will find you somebody that you can be with and not be isolated. So that's just a few thoughts. Take care. God will be with you. God bless, and thanks for watching.